Okay, so career started in 2000 with a French insurance company. And I would say it was a marathon 7.5 years run. Deutsche Bank was the place where I would put my credit to leadership. Okay, it was a gateway. Okay, so I manage a team of almost 130 people out there who moved in from a third party to a captive center.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, the podcast series by Directors Institute World Council of Directors, where we bring you conversations with top industry leaders, visionaries, and professionals who are shaping the future of global business. I'm your host, Tanayol, and today we're excited to have a distinguished guest whose career has spanned a wide array of industries, including regulatory fintech, investment banking, and insurance. Mr. A.M. Kiran, with over 24 years of experience in operations management, has led transformational projects that have redefined operational excellence across some of the world's most renowned organizations. Sir, firstly, thank you so much for joining us today. We are truly thrilled to have you here, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on leadership, innovation, and the future of operations management.
Yeah, hi Tanay, this is Kiran here. Thank you for hosting me. I would first of all extend my gratitude to the Directors Institute. I think they are the ones who give me a platform, and looking forward to a journey as we unwind on the experiences.
Yeah, pleasure is all ours, sir, today. Sir, our first question is that with over 2 decades of diverse experience in sectors like regulatory, fintech, global banking, and insurance, you've clearly had quite an exciting journey. From leading major operational initiatives to managing large-scale teams, you've seen it all. Sir, if you were to rewind to the early days of your career, can you share with us a pivotal moment or turning point that made you realize this was the path for you? And how did it shape you being the professional today?
Okay. To start with, Tanay, I'm a BCom graduate. Okay, Bangalore, 2000 AD. You ought to be a software engineer or you're nobody. Okay, that's the
Yeah.
reality of the world. Okay, yes, dreams and ambitions were there, but I did not know what is going to come up. Okay, and I would be thankful and grateful to say that IT enabled services just started at that point of time, and it's just that being at the right place at the right time. Okay, so with the BCom in hand, I was just looking out and scouting for my first job. If you ask me, was there any dream? Yes, there is a Maruti 800 was the only dream. If you ask me, if I were to put it exactly colloquially, today I
Yeah.
can say it is Mercedes 800. Okay, that's the journey that I've had. But on that day, it was a M800. That was my dream. That's the way it started, and we were lucky that we were part of this IT-enabled services, which is now called as Global Capability Centers. Okay, so career started in 2000 with a French insurance company, and I would say it was a marathon 7.5 years run. Okay, in which I got to travel to countries. Okay, Europe, US. Okay, both the continents. Working with foreign show clients, it gave us a couple of things. Okay, the first and foremost thing is talk English, walk English, drink English. Everything is English. Okay, you're getting my
Yeah.
point. The
Yeah.
world in 2000 was assumed to be this way. Okay, you know English, you know the work. Okay, or else you're nobody. Okay, that was the reality. But today, I think the world is matured. Everybody understands and respects everything. Okay, so that is where it started. So started my career with AXA Business Services. Okay, marathon 7.5 years across different countries, across different geographies. People from US, Europe to Asian region. Okay, that is how it started. Okay, then came my stint with German investment banker named Deutsche Bank. Okay, that was another 5 years out there, wherein I managed the international transitions. And I think that is one area where I would say that it gave me a window into leadership. Deutsche Bank was a place where I would put my credit to leadership. Okay, it was a gateway. Okay, it's a transition, and you're bound to go wrong. You're bound to falter. These are things that happens. Okay, and yes, I was at the receiving end, but I would say that is the learning. That was the real learning or the break even in my life. Okay, managing transitions, meeting people from outside India, it was not easy. Okay, culturally we are not tuned to it. Okay, so you say, okay, 5 minutes, 5 minutes means 5 minutes. Okay, 5 days means 5 days. Okay, these are all the things. It was a shock, but I think it just so happened that that was my norm.
Yeah.
Okay, I was starting my world, and that was my cradle days in corporate world, and so that's how I would put it. And then came my stint with eMudhra Limited. Okay, so it's been almost marathon 11 and a half years. Okay, so when I jumped into eMudhra, people used to always taunt me selling, okay, the gratuity guy. Okay, because it is rare that people stay for such a long time. Okay, but I will say I think the real learning of unlearning happened here because I was coming from one world. Okay, it was a world of 180 where you were into multinational companies, you know, one system, one structure. Okay, and once I came in here, and this is where I will say I learned top lines, bottom lines, revenues, ARPU. These are all were jargons until that day. Why I say this? Okay, I say this because first 12 and a half years of my life, 25th of every month, I had my salary credited. I did not know what was happening. Okay, it was immaterial. Okay, and here was a stint where sales was everything. Okay, your bread and butter depends on sales. Okay, that is where it all started. So this is how my journey has been. So when I started it, I think there was no goal, there is no direction. I just left it to destiny, and destiny has got me here. And I will say it's a wow journey that I've had till date.
I think sometimes that is the best way to have your journey, where destiny defines it and you go and learn along the way and enjoy it.
That's true. That's very
Yeah.
very true.
Managing a team of over 150 people across Pan India at eMudhra must have come with its fair share of complexities, pressure, especially when you're working towards operational excellence. Sir, we would love to know what was the situation and how did you, along with your team, navigate, to achieve success through all of that? Like, what was going through your mind? How did you keep everyone motivated and aligned?
See, when I joined here, I had my own ambiguities. Okay, I stepped in, and when I stepped in, also I thought it's going to be a 6 months journey, kind of. Okay, so that's the way it all started. And the most important thing I would say is the power of linguistic connect. I think eMudhra taught me that. Sorry, eMudhra taught me that. Okay,
Yes.
so because when I started my career, it was all about English. But when I came in here, I realized that okay, take India itself. Okay, if you were to take India itself, okay, 70% of revenue comes from Hindi heartland. So which means Hindi becomes dominant. Okay, I'm lucky and I'm privileged to say that I know 5 Indian languages.
Oh,
Okay, so and I can connect with people in that regional language. Okay, and in eMudhra, what happened is we had close to 23, 24 branches. Okay, there were branches, there were physical documents that were coming in, and I had to have branch in each of the state where we were expanding in terms of business. Okay, and that's where I felt my language and the language barrier was broken. It's not about talking to somebody in English. Okay, it's about talking to somebody in the language that they understand and make them perform. Okay, you believe it or not, at the peak of it, okay, as you said, almost 150 odd people. Okay, I had branch somewhere in Jammu and Kashmir. I had a branch somewhere in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. You name the state, I had people. Okay, and the interviews were done online. Okay, they were managing the post. Okay, and there was an what I did is I made sure that first thing is I connected with them in the regional language. That was the first and foremost thing. It's not about knowing English, it's about understanding things. Okay, I think they say no vocal for local. Okay, I think that's the first and foremost thing I would put across. Okay, and two, you have a doubt, reach out to me. I think that was the first thing. And two, do not hesitate. Okay, any problem is not your problem. Okay, if it is more than maybe 2 hours or 4 hours, it is my problem. Put it on my table. Okay, I make sure I give a solution in 15 minutes. Okay, that's been my leadership mantra for all the people across. Okay, people reporting into me, I make it very very clear. The problem is a problem until a point you're not able to decode it. Put it on my table. Okay, I'll give the solutions. Time does not matter, where I am does not matter. Okay, pick the phone and call me. Okay, so these are things that give confidence to people. Okay, they had a comfort zone of reaching out to me. Okay, more than anybody else. Okay, and
yeah.
this actually created the success. Okay, all that success I will attribute to the connect that I was able to, and the people were ready to perform. Okay, the energy levels. Okay, talking to somebody in Delhi in Hindi as against English. Okay, you're creating a bond, you're creating a space, and you're making a point telling that it's my home, it's our home, it's not just my home. Okay,
Yeah.
that was the most powerful tool I feel gave me the success. Okay, as a company we were able to excel across market. Okay, we had a wonderful market share and we were the leaders in the market. Okay, across India. Okay, so this is what I would say was the pivotal moment or the success mantra that propelled us till date.
I think communication, we often forget, is number one in connecting to people across different regions. And in India, we have so many languages, so many cultures. The more we know, the more closer we can get to people who we don't actually know.
Right. See, but there is a notion in the world telling that you need to know English. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm for it. I'm not saying no to it, kind. But at the same time, that is not everything. Okay, but that when you're doing business in India, you ought to know regional language. There is talent there. Okay, tap the talent. Two, you're getting a cost at a reasonable
yeah,
price. Okay, you're getting your attrition rate is going down. Okay, these are all the things that makes up a successful story at the end of it. Okay, so
true.
that is what I want to reiterate on.
So, your role in overseeing business continuity planning and conducting evacuation drills for prime services showcases your deep commitment to ensuring operational stability. So, in a world where unforeseen challenges can arise at any moment, how do you approach preparing your team and systems to handle such crises with seamless efficiency? Like, what mindset do you adopt, and how do you inspire your team to stay vigilant and resilient in these high pressure situations?
Okay, coming to business continuity, I think this is one of the most critical aspect of any successful business. Okay, and in my case, I had the privilege of getting to know things and being an active member of that department. Okay, to start with AXA, I was the fire warden there, the BCP champion. These were all the titles that we were called. Okay, and simple principle, it says that with 33% to 50% of staff, you should be able to meet your SLAs across board on any given day. So this is what is the yardstick that measures. Okay, and we went through live drills. Okay, we were given mock drills. We were given live drills where we traveled across to BCP locations. That's a disaster recovery site. They use the word DR site. Okay, so we were there and we were delivering from there. Okay, at the end of it, we were making sure that 80 to 85% or even up to 90% of business SLAs were met on that given day. Okay, that's one side of it. The other side, okay, there are two game-changing events that's happened in last 2 decades. Okay, one is the dot-com crisis and the 9/11. Okay, this is for the people who are maybe in the 40s. Okay, I think they'll be able to resonate. Okay, it's not about a building falling. Okay, I'll tell you what happened in 9/11. Okay, when the first tower was hit, I'm told the people in the second tower were clicking photos. Okay, they did not anticipate that they also could be at risk. Okay, this is very very important. Okay, I tell all my people, okay, risk can be anywhere. Okay, your neighbor is hit, you could be the next target. You have to keep that in mind. Okay, and see, and these are like moments that redefines life. Okay, that's what I would put it. The second thing, I think all are aware, COVID-19. Okay, it came from nowhere. Okay, and it made sure that all of us learned work from home, became a norm, and business delivery continued. Okay, businesses flourished. Okay, all the companies that had plan in place were able to survive, and they were able to deliver to their clients in line with their SLA set. Okay, so when I have my team, okay, with my team, there are certain things that I've set out clearly telling that first is you have to understand the process. Quality matters, it is not about quantity. Start with quality. Okay, once you've hit the quality, quantity will follow you. Okay, and quantity and quality is a balancing game. Okay, you ought to have both. Okay, and that is when more business will come. When more business comes, your company grows. Your company grows, you grow. Okay, and this is it's like a domino effect. Okay, the success mantra follows one another. Okay,
Yeah.
and that is where I feel that BCP is not a small thing. Okay, people think it's a drill. Okay, one day drill, kahin pe siren baj gaya. Okay, I'll go and come. No, it's not about siren. It can happen any day. It can happen once in your lifetime. On a day you're not a team member, you could be a CEO of a company. Okay, and that is something that people have to understand. Okay, if it does not happen, thank god that it never happened. Okay, but when it happens, are you have you do you have the nerves, do you have the pulse to act within that window and make sure that you deliver? I think that's the most important takeaway from BCP. Because when I started, as I said, okay, fire drill, okay, and fire champion or BCP champion, these were like fancy words. Okay, but what is behind that is more important. Okay, so people used to say, oh, okay, there's a siren ringing, okay, I have to run. Okay, no, it's not about it. Understand the risk. It's not a team member. You could be a CEO of a company when this will happen, and on that day, if you don't know what it is, I think your company is gone. I think that's the most important thing, and that's the takeaway I have inculcated, and I tell all my members, whether they are here or they're moving out, they're starting their own companies, I say, keep this in mind always. Yeah.
True, sir. I mean, it's just like how opportunities also, when they arise, they say always be prepared for it. Similarly, for disasters, you be prepared for it, right? So that
Yes.
it just doesn't come out of the blue and everyone's, because panic strikes right then.
True, very true.
Sir, you achieved some truly impressive milestones like reducing fails by 60%. These kinds of results never happen by chance. So, I'm curious, when it comes to identifying areas for improvement, what's your approach? Like, how do you spot opportunities? And more importantly, how do you translate those insights into real, impactful outcomes for your teams and organization as a whole?
Okay. See, Six Sigma is how the world started. If you ask me, 2003 to 5 is when all these lean initiatives came into picture. Six Sigma became a big tool. Okay. But what happened after 2008-9? Suddenly came the Lean Six Sigma because of global financial crisis. Okay, an analysis of 6 months became redundant. That was the reality, and that is where Lean Six Sigma came into picture. Okay, two different worlds. Okay, at the end of the day, it is about cutting cost, increasing revenue, finding avenues of business. At a macro level, if you were to talk about any organization for that matter, this is going to be the core principles on which an organization is going to run, and most important, leading people at the end of it. So that is how it is. Okay. For me, Six Sigma is how I started. Okay. Way back in 2004, I got a glimpse into it kind. Okay. And then cutting 60% reduction in fails number and success rate. This came up in Deutsche Bank as part of investment banker. Okay. Here, what happened is I was managing I was into project management. Also, I had a team to manage. Okay, this is how it was. There was a transition happening. Okay, so I managed a team of almost 130 people out there who moved in from a third party to a captive center. Okay, that was my first role. Okay, and then came my own team, which I was managing along with the other team leaders, team managers rather. Okay, so in this, what we spotted is the current model that was running. Okay, there was a leakage happening. Okay, and we had to spot it. Okay, and what we felt was let's move people from the current model of working under process-driven silos. Okay, okay, I do pre-check. Okay, you do the settlement rate. Okay, this is how the process was segregated. Okay, so what we decided is okay, no, let's move out of it. Okay, let's make ownership end to end. This is what we focused on. Okay, we made sure. Okay, a person who does the pre-matching also makes sure that the settlement happens. Okay, that is the process flow that we redrew and made sure that all the people get ownership of one trade from the start to end. Okay, when you talk about investment banking, it's all about trades. Okay, it's about settlement of trades, the success rate that defines the success story at the end of the day, and that translates into a big number at the end of the day. It can be millions, it can be billions. Okay, so and that is where what we did is we realigned the team itself in a model where the ownership lies with one person from the start to end. Okay, and this is what led to a lean initiative, and we it became a lean Six Sigma project as Dodge, and we were able to record a 60% turnaround or success rate in that particular project, and I think it was a win-win situation for all of us. Kind. Okay, adding to that, okay, I would want to add one more thing here. Okay, Lean Six Sigma. I'll give you a classical example. I think this is the best example that I would cite wherever I go. There were 130 people on the floor. Okay, each one had two monitors. Okay, each person had two monitors to look at. That's how it worked. Okay, I don't know how many people captive world. That's how it was. You have two monitors, and one you see, and the other one is operate. Okay, what I realized is 130 people. Okay, the monitors were not switched off at the end of the day. So, which means the monitors were running for minimum 10 hours on any given night, working day. That's from Monday night to maybe Friday night. Friday is longer because Friday it goes on till Monday morning. Then I reached out to the IT team. I asked them how much does a monitor consume. They said a monitor consumes 0.12 units per hour. So that was 1.2 units per monitor the night that it is kept switched on. Okay. So when I translate that, it was 130 systems is 260 monitors. Okay. Into 1.2 units. Okay. And what was the cost of power? Power on that day was 7 rupees. I think this was some 2010, 11. I'm talking about between 10 to 11. That's the window where I'm talking about. Okay, they told 7 rupees per unit. Okay, if I translate all that, I translate it into almost 2,200 rupees per day. Okay, if you extrapolate it to 22 working days, it almost translates to 5,76,000. So that translates to $12,000. Okay, this was about one department. This was just about one department, and we were almost like 3 to 4,000 people out there. Okay. So this is a classical example of lean initiative, which became more dominant, more practical after the global financial crisis. because the market dynamics changed. The time window for decision making was very, very short. Okay. Prior to GFC, I would say a 6 month window was more than enough for you to do an analysis and come out with a roadmap and then a rollout. Okay. After the GFC, that is a global financial crisis, it really became time centric, and that's where Lean Six Sigma came in. Okay. You spot something, you identify, you map it, try it, test it out, roll it out. Okay. It was a very short window. Maybe you can call it as 3 to 4 weeks window. It's all done. It's all
Yeah.
done. So that is where this came up. So these are two things I would talk about. Okay. Six Sigma is first world. Okay. Virtue of 2 decades. I would say the first 10 years, I would say Six Sigma was there, but I think Lean Six Sigma is relevant. And today, I think that is what is practically workable.
And the small changes that you did make, in fact, led to such big results, which we often don't look at. We want to make the bigger changes because we feel only those ones can lead to big results. But sometimes it is the small ones.
Very true. Very, very true.
So, with such a successful and diverse career trajectory, I'm curious to hear about what your vision is for the future. Like looking ahead, what are some of the key aspirations that drive you, both professionally and in terms of your ambitions within the boardroom? Are there any specific milestones you're working towards, or perhaps leadership roles you're aspiring to take on as you continue to shape your legacy in the business world?
Okay. So I'll go back to 1999. Okay. The aspiration of boardroom started in 1999 because CNBC TV 18 has been a channel that I'm following from almost day one. Okay. When I used to see the guys in suits, okay, I always felt I had to be one among them. Okay. That's how it started. How to get there? Only time decided, and time got me here. Okay. And today I say all the people, okay, Kiran, why don't we start our own thing? I say I want to be a corporate guy till the age of 75. I want to challenge every generation that comes in. Okay, that's the whole point. And to see, it's not easy. Okay, and it's there's nothing called one style of leadership. Okay, your communication has to adapt in line with the generation that you're talking to. Okay, channelizing them in the direction and the vision of the company is not going to be an easy task. Okay, and it's a different generation. Okay, they've not seen what we have seen. Okay, they've come with all the luxuries of life, and they are like go-getters. Okay, and their aspirations and dreams are totally different. Okay, so that's where it is. That's the first and foremost thing. I did my BCom, then I took up my MBA. Okay, this was in 2003. I still remember one of my colleague who just I bumped into him. I told I've taken up my MBA because I feel studies is the way forward. And he said me only one thing, okay, and that was the first instance of the word director. He said, Kiran, I think if you do an MBA, I think there'll be a lot of companies which will come up and take you as a director, and they'll pay you money. Okay, so in 2003, who knows? Okay, I think that we were all driven in one direction, telling the yaar paisa banate hain. Okay, let's
Ah,
make money, let's earn, see, dreams, ambitions, aspirations were all tagged to the monetary motivation that we had. Okay, so 2003 is the first time I heard about director, and even till date, I can recall and replay that moment of life. Okay, I'd reached out to his house with all my books, and he saw it and he made that comment. Okay, so that is the second instance. And then coming to eMudhra, I think 12 and a half years working with a leader. Okay. There's a lot of stories. Okay. The challenging times, the prosperity, and the success stories. Okay. If I were to put a cameo into it, okay, I would say maybe from 80 people to 800 people is what we grew. Okay.
wow.
From 2014 to 2024, from somebody to a global player. I think that's where the company has moved. Okay, a bootstrap company to $1 billion market cap. Okay,
Wow.
so and I have a team that supports 365 days in a year. That's the USP and the success story that we built on. Okay, one company across in the industry, we support 365 days. Okay, anybody anywhere reaching out in terms of needing a digital signature or so, we are there.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have evolved from being a digital signature company to a digital transformation company. I think that's how we have evolved. Okay, so this is the journey that's got us still here. And in my case, okay, personally, what is there? Chief Operations Officer is a title that fascinates me. Yeah, and I was part of IIM Lucknow. I just graduated from IIM Lucknow in Jan. Okay, I just finished my convocation, and I actually skipped 1 or 2 sessions of Directors Institute because I was out there in Lucknow. Okay,
Okay.
and I just then I've taken up this course, and I've been part of this course. And last year, 3 times I attended the webinar for Directors Institute. and the zeal and the energy level of Mr. Zishan Patan, if I'm not wrong, he was the one who was hosting it. Believe it or not, it was a session of 2 hours, and to keep people focused in what they want to deliver is something that kept on ringing in me. But I didn't want to mix two qualifications together. I was just waiting for December. I just finished my IIM Lucknow, and then I jumped into this. Okay, so this is my ambition, boardroom guy till the age of 75. That is what I want to keep on. Yes, there's going to be challenging times. There is going to be times where it will be demanding kind, but I would say I'm ready to adapt. I think that's the most important thing. If I can adapt, if we can adapt, I think we can find success even in boardroom.
Lovely, sir. I think that sounds like an incredible journey and the plan ahead.
Yeah.
Sir, corporate governance plays such a vital role in shaping the culture and organize. So, corporate governance plays such a vital role in shaping the culture and operations of organizations today. How do you personally approach governance in your leadership role, and what do you believe is the most crucial aspect of strong corporate governance?
Okay. See, corporate governance in a company is all about rules, regulations, and processes. Okay. There is a governing body. Every industry has a governing body. Okay. And there are processes clearly defined. The do's and don'ts are defined. Okay. It's important that your SOPs are clearly drawn out. Okay. Because that defines the do's and don'ts. Okay. And then you have to inculcate the same to your employees. I think that is the most important thing. Okay. It can be on paper, it has to be in spirit. I think this is one thing you keep hearing time and again telling that it's not just on paper, it has to be in the spirit also. And that is where I would say you have to transpose things, make sure that you are able to communicate that to your people. Okay, and this is where I say, and I again reiterate, the linguistic power comes into picture. Okay, English is a complex language, and it is not easy for everybody to interpret and walk the talk.
100%.
Okay,
100%.
so you have to make sure that the SOPs are broken down into exactly what it means. Okay, and I say people, okay, translate into regional language. Okay, and when I spoke to you about 23, 24 branches in India, it's not easy to manage. Okay, what they deliver there has to exactly be what I have taught them. Okay, okay, and it's not going to be easy. Okay, so that's what I made sure is I made sure every office had a poster in place. Okay, SOP was drawn. Okay, it's important that you keep bumping it, you keep bouncing into it. Okay, I've taught you something. Okay, it's not going to be easy, kind. Okay, you're a team of 5 people or a 50 people. There's invariably somebody who will come to you and keep asking the same question. Okay, first time is fine, second time is fine, third time your thoughts are running from there and you are bound to go wrong. Okay, and that's where I made sure I broke this default of reaching out to your buddy out there. I said, look at the document in front. Okay, it's very, very important because the document cannot go wrong. It's been vetted, it has been
Yeah.
printed, the colors have been set so that it can clearly reach you and you're able to read it and you're able to do the process. Okay, and that was the first and foremost thing. Okay, and two, your controls. Okay, when I say controls, okay, I had branches and I had every branch being monitored through a CCTV camera. What's my guy doing? Okay, it is also uh, it is a requirement by my governing body as well. Okay, so I made sure I had a person in a neutral venue who is looking at the CCTVs to see if my guys are out there, if there is anything that's happening. Okay, and if there is a red flag, okay, we reach out to them then and there. So this is very, very important because when the branches are on a remote location and they are running independently, it's not going to be easy, kind. Okay, and
Yeah.
there's going to be external influence. Okay, it's not about doubting your employees. Okay, there is always an external influence. There is an external force. Okay, and they should be able to ring fence themselves, telling that, sir, there is a CCTV out here. I have my head office looking at me. Okay, so we are here to support you. At the same time, if something is non-compliant, just set it right, and we are here to support you. Okay, this was very, very, very much required. Okay, because see, people are under pressure. Okay, and if you go to tier 2, tier 3 cities, okay, it's not going to be easy, kind.
Yeah.
Okay, corporate world is still getting insulated into people. Okay, not everybody are vocal enough to say no.
Yeah.
Okay, and this was very much required. Okay, there are times when I've reached out to them, I told, okay, I'm here to support you, help you out, just get me this. Okay, and we'll do it for you. Okay, but I cannot compromise. That was the most important area. Okay, and the next thing, okay, when you bump into a legal or a judiciary, okay, you have to be confident about your process. You should be sure about what you have done, and you have done exactly what your governing body has told you. Okay. So it is not easy. You have to map your process and clearly adapt to the SOPs given by your governing body and say that I've done exactly that. Okay. So because why I'm saying this, okay, today we are living in a world of digital fraud. Okay. At the end of the day, you have to make sure that you are compliant. Okay. And that has to be conveyed. Okay. If you're called in somewhere, it is very, very important that you are able to adapt to all the pieces and clearly convey and you support them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the role that I have to play. Okay, so this is where I feel corporate governance is very, very important tool, and success of any organization depends on how foolproof you have understood it and how smoothly or how user friendly you have rolled out to the next level. Okay, it's a I would call it as a Genix. Okay, you have to break it, you have to decode it, and you should be able to communicate where your people understand it exactly the way you want them to be understood. Okay, without which I don't think so it happens, and without which I don't think so we would have reached this journey this far. Okay, so
Yeah. And like you said, with digital space coming in, it becomes even more important that checks are in place. You've newly enrolled in the Directors Institute, and it's exciting to see leaders like yourself taking this step towards further development. So, we would love to know what motivated you to join. What are you hoping to gain from this experience in terms of leadership growth, corporate governance, and operational excellence?
yeah. So as I said, I think first and foremost is I want to be a corporate guy, the guy with the blazer who decides everything. Okay, there could be a
Yeah.
billion-dollar transaction happening anywhere in the world. Okay, but I want to be the boardroom guy. Okay, that was the first and foremost thing. 2022 onwards. Okay, somewhere I was thinking, what next in life? That was something happening. Okay, we have hit the podium. Okay, yes, success is out there. Okay, what next in life? Okay, there's no end. Okay, ambition, aspirations has is part and parcel. Okay, so Mercedes ke baad what next? Okay, that's the way I would put it. Okay,
Yeah.
but and that's where I felt that studies is most important. Okay, until then I never was able to connect to this online studies, and there were many things going on. Okay, I had my close colleague itself who used to always say me one thing. Okay, Kiran, I think you should join IIM. So he said it for 9 long years, and 10th year I took it up. Okay, you're getting my point. Okay, it takes time for you to connect to what the person is saying. So which means maybe that person was already at 500,000 feet and I'm still climbing my ladders.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I put it. Okay, and once I took up I am Lucknow, and that's when I bumped into this Directors Institute. It was Facebook ad. That's how it started. It came up. It started popping up in Facebook. I could see many people talking about it, and I told him, man, I think I should also be counted in here. Okay, and then I attended the session. Okay, and all the three times the energy levels were same, and in me, I think the aspiration to jump in kept on going up. It never went down at any point of time. Even in December, when I attended the session, I always had thought that I will take it up in April, May. I thought, okay, I'll finish my I am Lucknow by Jan, and then I'll take a 3 months break. And then I thought, why should I break? I think there is a momentum going. Okay, I'm able to connect to a person who's been talking about it. I think it was Mr. Zishan Patan, if I'm not wrong. He's the one who hosted the webinar. Okay, and that energy levels that with which he was talking, I think that was one more motivation that I had in me, telling that okay, let's do it. Okay, and that's where I just took it up. I jumped into it. Okay, and how do I going to make a difference? Okay, I think corporate governance is the pillar on which a success story is written. Okay, any organization. Okay, when we came in here, when I came into eMudhra, kind, okay, as I said, okay, we were nobody or somebody in the market. Okay, today we are a global player. Okay, it's a journey, it's a vision of one man, where all of us as leaders, okay, we followed it. Okay, we worked towards it. Okay, every feedback, everything given to us, we just followed the leader. Okay, and that's where the success story lies. Okay, so what next? Okay, there can be success stories. It can happen here. There could be a quantum jump that we may look at because we want to be a global player here. Okay, else then what motivates me? From an industry perspective, okay, I like the food aggregator, Swiggy and Zomato. Why I say this? Okay, that is where linguistic power comes into picture because you're going to deal with gig workers. If you look at the employee base of these two companies, I think it's gig workers. Okay, and that's where regional language comes into picture. I think that's something that really connects to me. Okay, at some point, I don't know. Let's see. Time decides. Else than that, renewable energy. I think this is one industry that I've been following. Kind. Okay. The future is going to be wind energy. Okay, and solar. Okay, and the latest one that I heard, maybe I think 3 days back is what I read about it. There's something called wave. Okay, tapping electricity from wave. I'd never heard about it. Okay,
Okay.
and there is a company and that is doing very well. Okay, so renewable is going to be a future because I think uh, climate change is a big threat across the world, and I am sure countries across the world are going to adapt to these things. Okay, and that is where these are all the things that is something I'm looking forward to, and I feel I can make a difference wherever I go. Okay, and hope for the best. I think time
Yeah.
decides.
So, thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights with us today. It's been truly inspiring to hear about your career journey, your approach to leadership, and your commitment to continuous learning through Directors Institute. Your experiences and vision for the future are certainly a source for many of our listeners. We wish you all the best, sir, as you continue your leadership journey and look forward to seeing the incredible impact you will make in the fields of operations management and corporate governance. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope today's conversation has sparked new ideas and perspectives in your professional journeys. So, until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next episode of FaceTime with Leaders. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.